Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to our math lesson today. Now, today's math lesson is going to be a fun one, and it's going to be a little bit different because we have to make do since we're not in class. We're going to do a variation of the worksheet, and I know you're going to enjoy it. We're still working on bar graphs. Remember yesterday we read off the table and then made a bar graph from that table? Yes, that was fun. I know I heard a lot of positive comments. Remember, we sorted the items in the C, and then we made a bar graph from those items. Remember the plants, the fish, the shells, and the boats? Well, today we're going to be doing something similar, a little more fun to it, and I'll talk about it in just a minute. But so we are learning that graphs are an extremely useful tool for comparing. The tables display information, so it's easy to compare and analyze all the little details of the information. The bars on the bar graph show us like a visual for comparing numbers or amounts. Like we saw yesterday with our vertical bar graph, which was the most and which was the least. Also yesterday we saw on the bar graph on the back, the ones that went horizontal, we could just visually see from that bar graph. So we're going to be doing something similar today. But in the Christian life, comparison is rarely useful. People are likely to compare themselves to other people or famous people or sports stars, and people may want to try to become more like those popular people or like somebody else. But remember, we always have to remember God's word. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by renewing your mind, and then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. And that comes from Romans 22:12. So again, with the charts, or the graphs, we can compare the latest and the greatest. But as people, we don't want to compare ourselves to other people. God made each one of us for who we are. He didn't want to make two people the same, because that would be pretty boring if everyone in the world was the same exact. But we should avoid saying, oh, I wish I was like him. I wish I was like her. We should not compare. God made you specifically because he wanted you a certain way. So follow God's way instead of comparing yourself to others. Okay, now we have this paper that we're going to be getting out. I may be going back and forth. We'll see through the lesson, but here is the paper that we're going to be getting out. We're going to make a table. See, this is the table that we're going to be making. We're going to be, it looks like, what do you think this is going to be right here? Well, it says at the top that I'm supposed to give out to you Play-Doh and cardstock and a straw. And if you have those things, great. But I have a better idea that I think you guys are going to like. So because we are going to make a boat. Ooh, but I'm going to go back to a lesson where Mr. Bill, remember first STEM, we did the sink or swim. Remember, we made a boat out of what? Aluminum foil. We're not going to get the water and everything. We're just going to make a boat, okay? So you're going to need a piece of an aluminum foil, and then we're going to need items to put in the boat to fill out this section, the table down here. Now, the items that they're asking for, even Miss Bartolome didn't have all these items, because these items are like the sailors that are gonna go in the boat. Now, Miss Bartolome, I got some of these items, but I didn't have all of them, and maybe you don't have all of them, but you could use something else. So it says that we could get pennies. Well, I had a bunch of coins, so I got pennies, dimes, nickels, and quarters. Do you see? Okay. It says we need paper clips. I did have paper clips, but if you don't have them, then you can use another item. I got a bunch of paper clips, a small handful. It said beans. Well, guess what? I didn't have any dry beans, but you know what I got instead of beans? Fruit snacks, okay? And macaroni. And this is a noodle. It's not like elbow macaroni and cheese, but it's a piece of pasta. So those are my items. So what I would like you to do is go get a piece of aluminum foil and make it into a boat. Here's mine. Okay, remember Mr. Bill? We did this with Mr. Bill and the floating. This one isn't a floating, a sink or swim activity, but we're gonna be filling our boat with our sailors made from those items and to fill out our table. So I'd like you to pause your video, go get a piece of aluminum foil and make a boat like Miss Bartolome's here, okay? It's just small. It's about as big as my hand there. And then go get 4 different items. You can use the 4 that are listed here, but if you don't have it, get something else, okay? Come back when you're ready, okay? So pause your video and go get those for me. Okay, now I hope you grabbed everything that we need for this lesson. If you didn't, then you can just do it with Miss Bartolome. I have the items here and you can just do it along with me, okay? So, again, you didn't have to grab the items, but I thought it would be fun for you if you're able to. But no worries if you didn't. So, we're kind of skipping this part because this is telling us how to make the boat and the Play-Doh, but we're skipping this part. We're going to go right down here. Now the sailors, here's our sailors, okay? So we're going to make a table to match your boat. So I don't want to put on my sharing screen right yet. I'd rather hold this up so that I can show you what's going to go in my boat. So the first thing is the pennies. So it's saying that right here, it says put as many sailors on your boat as you can and don't let them touch each other. So my sailors can't touch each other. Okay, so the first item is pennies, but for me, I'm using all my coins. So let me try to tilt this and I'm gonna see how many sailors. I'm gonna use my coins. There's 1. Let me see if I can get it's sliding down, guys. So here's 2. There's 3 sailors. There's 4. There's 5. And there's 6. Okay, well, I was able to fix 6 sailors in my boat, and I didn't just use pennies. So I'm trying to tilt this, you guys. Let me see. Okay, so do you see? They're sliding down, so I can't put more here because mine are really sliding down. So I have 6 sailors. So my sailors for my pennies, I'm gonna put, oh, this word says tallies, remember? So how many sailors, pennies, did I put in my boat? I put 6. So I'm gonna make 6 tallies. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shut the door, 5, 6. So remember, we make tallies. That's 5 and that's 6. And then the number is 6. Okay, next on my list is paper clips. Let me see how many paper clips I get into my boat without touching each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if you get more because you made a bigger boat, if you're doing this, then you don't want to put 6 for the pennies. If you get more in your boat because your boat is bigger, don't copy what I put. But if you're just watching me do this, then that's fine. Now, I just did the paper clips and I put in 7 paper clips. They're a little bit hard to see, and there's some down there in the front, but they can't touch each other. But I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I got 7. How many did you get? Well, I'm going to write my tallies because I put 7 in my boat. So I make tallies, 7 tallies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shut the door, that's 5, 6, and 7. And there was 7. So there's my tallies right there. I have 5, 6, 7. If you got something different though, you want to put that many tallies. And remember, group them in 5s and then the number. Now the beans. Now, I didn't have beans, remember? I'm using fruit snacks. So let me see how many fruit snacks I get in my boat. And the fruit snacks are my sailors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 fruit snacks in mine. How many did you get in yours? Or if you're using beans or something else, then you put however many you can get in your boat without touching. So I got 6 for my beans, but I didn't use beans. I'll cross the beans out and write gummies. I'll write gummies, and I got 6, so I'm going to do my tallies and write the number. So I wrote gummies, 5, 6. That's 6 tallies and the number 6. Okay? Now the last one, the sailors, is macaroni. So I'm going to get my noodles. You get whatever you got and see how many you can fit in your boat. Let me see. 1, 2. Oh, they're touching. They're rolling. I think 4 of mine could get in without touching. Do you see? I have 4 in my boat. How many macaroni or noodles did you get in your boat? I got 4, so I got to do 4 tallies. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the number 4. So there's my 4 tallies and the number 4. Okay, boys and girls, so now we're going to use, again, if you're using off of mine, that is perfectly fine, but you're going to have to flip back and forth to fill out the bar graph for the back. So let me now share my screen. Let me share my screen. Again, if you did something different than I did, or if you got more or less, then yours is not going to be the same as mine, okay? Let me get the back of this paper. Here we are. Okay. Well, okay, there we go. All right, so, not sure why it disappeared. Let me get it again. Okay, so now I've got to make my graph. I'm making my bar graph now. Now, yours is, if you did your own boat with your own sailors, you're going to do what yours did, but I'm just going according to mine. So first, now I got to color my bar graph. So pennies. How many pennies did I get? I got 6 pennies. I do see on my front, I got 6 pennies there. So, and again, with making the bar graph, we have, let's see here, we have the kinds of sailors, which were, for me, it was the coins, the gummy bears, the paper clips, and the noodles. So, and then the number of sailors, and those items are our sailors. That's funny, isn't it? So how many coins did I get? I got 6. So how many boxes, how many bars am I going to color in? Well, 6, because I got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I got 6. How many did you get? Go ahead and color that in, pause your video, and then come back when you're finished. We are moving on to the paper clips. Well, I'm looking at the front of mine, and I got 7 paper clips. So how many bars am I going to color in? Right, I'm going to color in 7 bars. Okay, so you can count how many paper clips you fit into your boat and then color that number. Okay, go ahead and color your bar graph to whatever you got and then come back when you're finished. Okay, there's my bar graph. Looks more like a bar graph, okay? Because then I could see. Okay, now we're moving on to the beans. Well, for me, I didn't use beans. I used fruit snacks. So I'm counting. I know I got 6 fruit snacks, so I'm going to color 6. You count however many you got, and then you color in 6, okay? Come back when you're finished. Okay. And now I'm on my last one. If you're not quite there yet, pause your video, count your items, and then color in that number. Now for the macaroni, I used noodles and I had 4. So you count how many you got and then color in that number. I know for mine, I had 4. Okay, and now I've got to write a title. Remember yesterday we thought of a title? I'm going to name my title, I'm going to name my title Sailing in the Sea. That's what I'm going to write mine, okay? You can have your own. All right, now we're going to look at these questions. My boat carried how many, it's asking the blank, sailors and all. So now we've got to count how many your boat, based on the bar graph. So you're going to count all of them together, however many boxes you colored in is how many sailors there were in all. So I'm going to have a different number than you if you did this project on your own. So I'm going to count quietly. You go ahead and count quietly too and write your number. Okay, well, I'm finished counting. If you're not, then pause your video. I had 24 sailors in all. I counted all the boxes of that I colored in. Okay, how many pennies did I have? Well, I used coins, so I could just either count all the ones I colored for pennies, or I could go to the bottom number. So the pennies is right here, and I could go straight down and look at. I had 6 pennies. How many did you have? Pause your video. Okay, I had how many paper clips? Well, for me, again, mine is going to be different. Okay, paper clips. I had 7 paper clips. How many did you have? Next, beans. I had 6 beans. How many did you have? Pause your video if you need to while I'm going through this for mine and count yours unless you're just going off of mine. Macaroni. Can you see how many macaroni I had? or noodles. I use noodles. How many did I have? So what number am I going to write? 4. Okay. So what did I have the most of? Ooh, do you see what I had the most of? Now, what did you have the most of? Okay, um, I had the most paper clips, so I'm gonna write in paper clips. I don't know, let me make this bigger. Paper clips. I had the most paper clips. That's for me, and so that's why I wrote it in. And the least, what did I have the least of? Do you see? We could just see by our visual bar graph, we could see what is the least. I had the least. For me, I had the noodles, the least noodles. What did you have? You write it in. Okay, the latest, what is the difference between the latest and the greatest and the least? Write a number sentence. Oh, the difference. So the word difference, what do we think of when we think difference? Do we think addition or subtraction? Different. This is subtraction, so it's going to be a subtraction problem between the greatest and the least, the most and the least. So the most was the paper clips, which I had 7. Take away, what was the least? For me, the least for me was the noodles, which was 4. So 7 take away 4. Now, if you have your own, you're going to use your own numbers. So 7 take away 4 is 7 take away 4 is 3. That's my answer. You go ahead and get yours. Okay, boys and girls. So we just finished our math paper. Did you have fun with this lesson? Awesome, I did too. Remember, your answers are going to be different than mine if you did your own boat, because your boat could be bigger than mine, or if you had different objects than mine. So your numbers are going to be different. You may want to ask your parent for some assistance if you didn't understand. But if you just followed off of me, then that's fine too. I enjoyed making a table and then making a bar graph from that table um, from our table. I hope you all enjoyed that too. I really enjoy this chapter, and I know you all are as well too. I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye bye.